6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Sumaira Kamal. First, the headlines. Caretaker Prime Minister directs to formulate effective strategy to stabilize country's economy. 2 Pakistan Navy officers and 1 sailor were martyred in helicopter crash in Gwadar today. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa governor has urged the US government to cooperate in projects for development of youth of tribal districts. Pakistan and Iran have resolved to boost cooperation in energy sector. 6 for Justice founder has appealed to Sikhs and Kashmiris to move New Delhi for march towards G20 summit venue. 4-member delegation of Board of Control for Cricket in India, led by its president, arrived in Lahore today to witness matches of Asia Cup. And now the news in details. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar has directed the Finance Minister to formulate an effective strategy to stabilize the country's economy. He gave the direction while talking to Caretaker Finance Minister Dr. Shamshad Akhtar in Islamabad today. Dr. Shamshad Akhtar briefed the Prime Minister on the current economic situation of the country. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar says the government will take stern action against electricity thieves. He was presiding over detailed briefing over power sector in Islamabad today. During the meeting, the Prime Minister was briefed over overall electricity generating production, installed capacity, actual generation and power distribution in different weathers. Caretaker Prime Minister for Law and Justice Ahmed Irfan Aslam called on President Dr. Arif Alvi in Islamabad today. They discussed many issues relating to holding of general elections in the country. The President appreciated the Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar's statement that the caretaker government would abide by the judgment of the Supreme Court of Pakistan on this issue. He emphasized the need for upholding supremacy of the Constitution, saying that decisions should be taken in accordance with spirit of the Constitution. 2 Pakistan Navy officers and 1 soldier were martyred in a helicopter crash in Gwadar today. According to a spokesperson of the Pakistan Navy, the helicopter crashed during a training flight in Gwadar. An investigation into the incident has been launched. President Dr. Arif Alvi has also expressed grief and sorrow over the martyrdom of 3 officials of the Pakistan Navy in a helicopter crash. In a statement, he prayed the Almighty Allah to grant higher status to the martyrs in heavens and give courage to the bereaved families to bear this irreparable loss. Caretaker Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar has expressed grief over the martyrdom of 3 officials of Pakistan Navy in a helicopter accident. In a statement, he commiserated with the bereaved families of the martyrs. Governor of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Haji Ghulam Ali has urged the US government to cooperate in projects launched for the youth of tribal areas. He said this while talking to the newly appointed US Consul General Shantimo, who called on him in Peshawar today. They discussed bilateral cooperation for improvement of the education, energy, commercial activities and economic development. Haji Ghulam Ali said Pakistan had cordial diplomatic relations with the US for 75 years. He stressed on the need to promote people-to-people contacts between the 2 countries. The U.S. Consul General expressed determination to enhance cooperation between academicians and business community of both the countries. The closing ceremony of Pakistan KSA joint exercise in counter-terrorism domain Al-Batar 1 was held at Cherat. The 2 weeks long exercise commenced on 22nd August with the participation of Special Forces contingents from 2 brotherly countries. Saudi Ambassador to Pakistan Nawaf Saeed Al-Maliki, along with senior military leadership, witnessed the final day activities of exercise. Combat aviation, along with the Special Forces of both countries, displayed their professional excellence. The exercise concluded with the fly-past. It was aimed at further harnessing the historic military-to-military relations between the brotherly countries, including nurturing of joint employment, concept against counter-terrorism, and identifying areas of mutual interest for future military collaborations. Tehran's ambassador in Islamabad, Raza Amir Muqaddam, called on caretaker Minister for Energy Muhammad Ali in Islamabad today and discussed bilateral cooperation in energy and other fields. They also engaged views on further strengthening relations between the two countries. Speaking on the occasion, the caretaker minister underlined the need for expanding cooperation between the two neighboring countries. He said vast opportunities of cooperation in the energy sector exist between Pakistan and Iran. Caretaker Minister for National Health Services Dr. Nadeem Jan says strategies are being evolved to improve healthcare system. Addressing the ceremony in Lahore today after laying the foundation stone of quarantine hospital at Allama Iqbal Airport, he said that all-out measures are being taken for elimination of flaws in the healthcare system. He further said the government is paying special attention for combating viruses and healthcare teams across the country are ready in this regard. This is Radio Pakistan. Senior All-Party Hurriyat Conference leader Shabbir Ahmed Shah has voiced grave concern over the continued bloodshed and human rights violations at the hands of brutal Indian forces in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Shabbir Ahmed Shah, in his message from New Delhi's Tihar jail, said during so-called operations, innocent civilians, particularly youth, are deliberately targeted after being dubbed as militants. The detained leaders said that in pursuit of the Israeli settler colonialism model, the Modi regime continues to confiscate the Kashmiris' lands and properties on one pretext or another. Indian troops, during a cordon and search operation, arrested 2 youth in Baramulla district. BDP chief Mehbooba Mufti, in a post on Twitter today, said the truth has become a casualty and stating facts can invite punishment in occupied Jammu and Kashmir since August 2019. She said this in response to a police warning of a legal action to the BBC on its report, "Any story could be your last," and India's crackdown on Kashmir press following the abrogation of Article 370. Meanwhile, the British Broadcasting Corporation, in another report regarding deaths related to India-made drugs, said the fatalities in the Gambia and Uzbekistan made international headlines, raising questions about quality standards in India's pharmaceutical industry. On the other hand, renowned Khalistini leader and Sikhs for Justice founder Gurpatwant Singh Panam, in a video message, appealed to the Sikhs and Kashmiri people to move New Delhi for a march towards the venue where the G20 summit is scheduled to be held in the second week of September. The second annual meeting of Association of Southeast Asian Nations begins in Indonesian capital Jakarta tomorrow. Leaders from member countries will deliberate on strengthening regional economic integration. On the sidelines of the summit, multiple events and bilateral meetings will be held between representatives of member states. 5 Palestinians were injured in an Israeli military raid in the West Bank city of Jenin today. Medics said Israeli forces raided the Jenin refugee camp early morning, triggering clashes with Palestinian gunmen. They said an Israeli drone fired a missile into a Palestinian target inside the camp without providing any further details. Iran has advised Turkey and Syria to resolve issues of common concern through dialogues. After meeting with the visiting Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan in Tehran, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian said the two foreign ministers engaged in discussions regarding the situation in Syria and the fight against terrorism. The 4-member delegation of Board of Control for Cricket in India, led by its President Roger Binney, arrived in Pakistan today via Wagah border. The delegation would stay in Pakistan till Thursday and also witness 2 matches of Asia Cup. Speaking on the occasion, the BCCI President Roger Binney said that he feels at home after arrival in Pakistan. The 5th match of Asia Cup between India and Nepal delayed by rain at Pallekele today. Nepal were 178 for 6 in 37.5 overs on the crease. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is expected in most plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. However, rain and wind thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Putuha region, Islamabad, and Gilgit-Baltistan during evening and night hours. To end the news, here are some of the headlines once again. Caretaker Prime Minister directs to formulate effective strategy to stabilize country's economy. 2 Pakistan Navy officers and 1 sailor were martyred in helicopter crash in Gwadar today. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa governor has urged the US government to cooperate in projects for development of youth of tribal districts. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/radio Pakistan News Official.